Alright, in this video I'll be carrying on with the upgrades to the GT Aggressor Pro that we started last year. And in this video I'll be doing a seat and seat post. For the seat I got a Chromag Trailmaster DT seat. And this is a good upgrade. If you're a little bit heavier, obviously it's my kid's bike, but I do find that the seat sort of collapses under my weight. So if you are not a kid, if you're sort of 180 pounds plus, the seat that comes with it isn't very good. So this upgrade is pretty significant. And I've only ridden this seat a little bit around the block a few times. It doesn't collapse under my weight like the one that comes with the bike does. So good upgrade if you are a bit heavier and using a GT Aggressor Pro. And this, maybe it isn't required. This is a race face Chester seat post. Now I know some people might think, well, it's not a dropper, why get it? If you're a parent, the seat post is about 1.5 inches longer for, I don't know what it is, 45 Canadian. So ideally I'll get another year out of the bike and then I'll give the other seat post to my smallest kid. So hopefully this gets 2 bikes another year of use. And it gives you torque spec, which is 70 to 88 inch-pounds. And it is a 27.2 in diameter for the seat post. So I'll just release the quick release for the GT Aggressor Pro, and you can see on the GT Aggressor Pro, it's also stamped on that seat post, 27.2. So if you're looking for another seat post, you gotta look at that. And it is a 6mm Allen key or hex nut to remove the seat from the seat post on the GT Aggressor. It is a 5mm for the race face though. So I'll just take everything apart so I could weigh it up. The GT seat is 337 grams. So not particularly light, not particularly heavy. And the Chromag seat is 311 grams. So it's a little bit lighter. It's not a ton lighter, and it also has the pressure groove in it. So it's overall much better seat though. That's what's important here. And you can see the seat post for the race face is longer, about 1.5 inches longer, I'm gonna say, give or take. So like I said, ideally that'll give me a little more life out of the bike. The GT seat post is 329 grams. So again, not particularly light for the GT, but not terrible either. And the race face seat post is 285 grams. So again, a little bit lighter, but not a crazy amount. And I took the GT Aggressor Pro seat and put it on this GT Stomper just for interest sakes. And like I said, I'm hoping to get another year out of both bikes. And this way I don't have to buy another bike this year. I could just run these bikes with slightly larger seat posts than they came with. And like I said, the race face seat post is a 5mm nut, and there's 2 of them on this seat. So it's gonna clamp the seat better. The one complaint I have is it's tough to get your torque wrench in on one of the bolts. Just based on the angle, it's too close to the seat post. Anyway, I took off 1 bolt on the race face seat post and then took the top piece, sort of spun it around and planted the seat on the rails, and then swung the top piece back over and inserted the second bolt into the seat. And I'm just tightening it up a little bit, just enough so that it's not flopping around or falling off the seat post. And then I'll do the final adjustments once it's on the bike and I could actually see how the seat is sitting on the seat post. So like I said, just finger tight so that the seat's not flopping around, and it's still loose enough that I can either adjust it forward or backwards or adjust the angle slightly. But the angle's overall pretty good. There's a line on the seat post for the maximum height that it should go, and you're not to exceed that height. And right now I'm just sort of getting the angle of the seat a little bit flatter, and if I have to adjust it later, I will. And then, like I said, there's 1 bolt I could use the torque wrench on with no issue, and then the one in the front, it's a little bit too close to the seat post to use the torque wrench effectively. But again, I'm going for that 70 to 88 inch-pounds. 70 to 88 inch-pounds. And you can see there's a gap in the front, and that should be about equal to the gap in the rear. So don't crank down one of the bolts completely and have the other one way up in the air. Sort of crank them down a little bit at a time so that they end up about the same. So the front's a little bit further down and I'm going to finish up tightening the back. Anyway, that's what it looks like when it's done. I went for a pretty flat seat. I might adjust that later. And there are some mounting guidelines on the seat as well for how far forward or backwards it could be. So just get the seat post sitting in the recommended guidelines for the seat. And just for interest sakes, if you have a GT Aggressor Pro, this bike started at about 35 pounds last year, and now it's sitting at about 28.5 pounds. So I would say overall lost about 6.5 pounds off the GT so far. Anyway, look forward to doing a couple more upgrades. Thanks for checking out the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.